Welcome back. What's up, guys? Today we are going to be making another, well, bloody mess. Today's going to be a little bit different. Not as long as the first video, hopefully. But we are going to be making something pretty simple. Probably a lot simpler than the last thing. So, let's get
clown business.
Okay, so these are all your ingredients to make today, which is...
What the fuck is going on?
Tomato soup. So, I am going to say right now, this tomato soup is probably going to be some of the best tomato soup you've ever had. If you like tomato soup.
What is the purpose of being here?
Okay, so you got your wooden spoon and your pot. But the thing that you're probably wondering what I have here, this is an immersion blender. I highly recommend you use this tool because if you use a regular blender, you're just gonna have hot soup spraying all over you. Other stuff like produce related things. You gotta have basil. Basil is what's gonna make your tomato soup taste really good. You're also gonna need thyme. You don't need a lot of thyme, but usually when I'm making my tomato soup, I use about 2 strands of it. Celery. Well, you want some vegetables in your soup, don't you?
Holy shit.
Onion. Also, you want vegetables in your soup, don't you?
Should we maybe just cook him?
And we got some spices here. I decided to use garlic powder instead of just using regular garlic, just to make things a little bit easier for me. You'll still have a good flavor, but if you want to take the time to mince up some garlic and put it in the pan, then I definitely recommend you do it. It might taste a little bit better, but for me, using garlic powder tastes just fine. And I'm deciding to use some red pepper. Again, if you like spicy, you can put that in. If you don't, leave it out. But whoa, pretty much with tomato soup, you can kind of go wherever you want with it. Add sugar, other spices you want. I don't care what you do.
Go crazy! Ah, go stupid! Ah, go crazy!
Olive oil, and you're gonna need vegetable broth. This is what's gonna make your soup more soupy. Half and half. That will balance the acid of the tomatoes. Salt and pepper. Then you're gonna need to get whole tomatoes in a can. And the reason why you're using whole tomatoes is because whole tomatoes are going to taste a lot better when you actually crush them up with the immersion blender and your wooden spoon. It will taste real and like somebody had taken the actual tomatoes and crushed them in there and blended them.
No shit.
And you're gonna need tomato paste. This will kind of thicken up your soup when in the early stages of putting everything in. So, as you can see, I'm squatted. I am literally about to murder this onion. So what you're going to do is you're in the prep stage right now. Of course, we know that by now. You're going to dice your onion up, cut off the ends, do whatever to dice it up nicely. I don't care how big or small you dice it. It is all going to get blended up anyway. But, you know, I don't recommend just putting the whole onion in there when it's cooking. It's good that you dice it up or in smaller pieces just so that when you blend it, it tastes, well, like there's onion. The onion is just looking at me and like it's scared of being chopped up right now. Okay. So as you can see there, it's very imperfect. Onions are still a little bit stuck together and all that. Yeah, it doesn't matter how big or small you cut the onion. You see like there's a giant piece right here. It's all going to get blended up anyway, but just small enough that you can that it can be spread out throughout the soup when you put the onions in to cook and soften down. you'll get that very good oniony flavor in there. I don't know how the fuck you say it, but whatever. Okay, so now you got celery. So when you're cutting the celery, just what I do is I always chop off the ends that have like the little dirt pieces and stuff like that. And I cut it into cubes so that, like the onion, I can distribute a little bit of that celery flavor throughout the soup. But I'm just going to dice this up, and I'll be right back with the basil. So what I'm doing with the basil here is I am stacking it up to make those basil stacks. You're going to need a lot of basil for this. I'd say about seven or eight big leaves.
You on drugs?
So see, look how thick my stack is there. I don't know if you can see it that well, but that's a lot of basil leaves. You don't want to put too much in there, but enough that it can get distributed easily throughout the portion that we're making here. But you're going to roll it up, and you're going to chop it up in, very small pieces. You're going to need about a little handful of basil. All right, so this is the part you are probably excited for, the cooking.
4 cups flour, feel the power. 2 cups sugar, this is how we cook her. 3 eggs, begs me to put them in the batter. 500 grams.
Cooking by the book, you know you can't be late.
Anyway, so what you're first going to do is you're going to take some of your olive oil, and you're going to put about, kind of guesstimate it. I know Cole hates that term. Just put about enough that the vegetables you're going to put in can fry. Kind of spin it around in there like that. Then you're going to take all your onion and your celery and basil you chopped up, and you're going to put it right in that bitch. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I got this all in here. Kind of start stirring it around and get it mixed in. You want to cook this so that you start to notice that the onions are getting a little bit dark. The celery's getting a little bit tanned also. And by the way, if you weren't able to get your basil like super tiny pieces of it, it's okay. Like I said earlier, all your stuff is going to be blended in the end, so do not worry. So yeah, just get that brown.
Come on, Eileen. Oh, I swear, baby, at this moment, you mean everything. You ain't that dress, my thoughts are the best.
So right around when your onions and your celery look like this, it's starting to get soft a little. That is when you're going to take your tomato paste and put that in. So go ahead and do that. Look how thick and crispy that looks. Yummy, 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 yummy. Okay, so your tomato paste and onion and celery mixture should basically instantly be ready by then. Just once you got it all mixed in there pretty well, that is when you're going to take your whole tomatoes, okay, whole, and you're going to put that in there. Just dump it all right in. Ah, shit, look at that. It's like balls. Oh! You're going to put 2 cans in. And once you do that, go ahead and start crushing it up. Just look at them hot balls frying in the pan. Just take your wooden spoon you got and just start crushing those tomatoes up. That will release their juices and it will taste very good. So, make sure you mix it too, so you can get all the celery and onion mixed around and such.
Slimy? It's satisfying.
Let's do that. Oh shit. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your vegetable broth, dump the whole thing right in. It's gonna take a little bit. Oh, oh, oh! Okay. Okay, so you stir this around. It'll just look like a bunch of vegetables and fruit just kind of floating around at the moment, but I guarantee in the end it's gonna become thick and creamy. It'll be so good. Now you're gonna take your half and half and just pour about half of the pint in there, I guess. This will very much balance that acidity. Just dump the whole fucking thing in. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic powder. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm also gonna add some crushed red pepper too, because that tastes good. Okay, now your thyme. You're gonna take about 2 of these. You're just gonna take it, put it right in. Stir it around a little bit if you'd like to, but keep in mind you're gonna have to take both of those out at the end. They shouldn't be too hard to find. This will add a little bit of extra herby flavor. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn this down to simmer. You're gonna let that simmer for 20 minutes. So be patient. You'll be pleased with the results.
Put the peanut butter and jelly on the sandwich. Then you put whatever topping you want inside the sandwich. Ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise. Can either be peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese, you need a little meat, and you need a little vegetable.
20 minutes is up. Okay, you can either expect 2 things. It's either going to look like this, or it might be bubbling. Either way is fine. You can touch the soup to see if it is warm enough. In my case, I touched it already. It is warm enough for me. But just stir it around a little bit, and then you're gonna take your thyme out. So do that, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now that you got your thyme out, next step is a little bit tricky, but it's probably one of the most satisfying parts of making this. And immersion blender. Alright, so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna, let's get my spoon out of here first. Alright, so just take a blender, stick it in, and then, oh shit. Anyway, but this can get very messy, so make sure you keep your blender submerged under there. If you bring it up here like this, then you're gonna get a mess. So keep it under the soup and just blend all those tomatoes together as smooth as you can. Everything in there gotta be blended. So once you can't see any tomatoes at all, no sign of anything, then your soup is basically done. So now something I like to top this dish off with is with a little bit of olive oil on top. I kind of take it and I zigzag it on top of there. And I usually like to eat it with croutons. And that is how you make my tomato soup.
You will let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream.